Alright, and welcome back to CAD 101 Fusion. In the previous episodes, we modeled all of the individual parts of our model rocket, the body tubes, tail fin, and nose cone. In this episode, we're bringing everything together in the assembly workspace. You'll learn how to use joints, rigid groups, and a circular pattern to assemble the rocket correctly. In real engineering design, parts rarely exist by themselves. Products are made from multiple components that must fit and move correctly together. All right, let's jump into Fusion and get to cooking. All right, here we are in Fusion. We'll go ahead and I'm gonna hit plus to create a new file. So new design. In this video, we're not doing a part design, we're assembling. So we wanna go into assembly design. We're gonna hit that and then create new. I'm going to close out the other untitled so I don't have it anymore. Again, I've got assembly view here. Not really worried about the units. All of my parts were in inches, but just to make sure everything is units, inches, ounce mass. First things first, as always, hit save. We're in the right file folder. This is going to be our assembled rocket. So, unlike part design, we've got a little bit different menu over here. I've got the data panel already open. I've navigated to my model rocket. You can see now my file I just saved and my 4 parts. Don't worry about these two. These are actually some animations I made of a different full rocket model earlier. But I'm gonna show you how easy this is to get this assembled. So we're gonna start by bringing in the body tube. That's basically the main thing that everything is connected to. Great place to start. So I'm going to left click on body tube here in the data panel. I'm going to drag, left click and hold, drag that over to the workspace and release. The part is going to come in exactly where I sketched it, exactly the way it is in the individual part file. So we made those circles when we sketched that right over the origin and we extrude it up. That's exactly where this is at. That's why I always reinforce sketching on the right plane, doing it the right orientation. It makes assembling a million times easier. One thing we want to do here, we've got an initial position box. We want to unground this. So right now, it'll let me, but it doesn't really. We want to uncheck this ground apparent and click OK. That allows me to move it and not have issues. If I had left it grounded, it would look like this. Ground apparent. Then when I try to move it around, it won't let me. I can't left click and move it. So if you accidentally clicked OK and it's still grounded, all you gotta do is right click on the body, the component name, body tube in your browser, go from unground to parent. And now I can left click, drag and move it around. But I want it to be on the origin. Everything I did was dimensioned and sketched properly. So let's leave it right on the origin. It's going to make the rest of this work a million times easier. Next up, we're going to start from the top. We're going to bring in the nose cone. So just like before, I'm going to go over to the data panel. I'm going to left click and hold on nose cone, drag it over to the workspace. Again, it brings it right where I sketched it. So we started that right on the x-axis. So you can see it's right on the red line. In this case, I want to bring it up roughly to the top of my nose cone, or my body tube. I've got these arrows, I've got these little swivels here. So the arrows allow me to move up and down. That's where we want to play right now. These little circles with the kind of semi little arcs, those would allow me to rotate. Don't want to mess with that right now because everything is lined up just perfectly because we did a great job sketching. So all I want to do is I want to grab this up arrow, bring this nose cone up above the entire body tube. Perfect. So here in my initial position, everything is zeroed out except for my 9 inches. So it's not been rotated any degrees. Other than my Z distance, nothing has changed. I'm ungrounded, so I'm good. We're going to click OK. So now we need to tell it, hey, what's the relationship between these two parts? So right here, we've got a menu that says relationships. We're going to click on the word relationships, and we're going to join these two parts. We're going to do a joint. Here in our pop-up, our auto selection is on select for a snap point. Snap points are basically, if you think of Legos or building blocks, it's the little studs and the little holes where things connect. In this case, if I hover over the top of my body tube, you can see 5 points kind of light up. There's 4 little dots around the inside edge, and then there's the circle right in the middle. I'm going to want to pick that circle right in the middle. So I'm left clicking on that. My selection pop-up has now moved to component 2. So now I want to tell Fusion, hey, this center dot relates to what part on my nose cone. I'm going to hit the shift button and hold down my mouse wheel to orbit to the underside of my nose cone. And what I want to see here is exactly what I've got right now. Kind of the inner circle of the bottom is highlighted, and I've got that center dot visible, kind of almost selected. If I left click, it will move the 2 parts kind of to where they're flush against each other. Perfect. I'm going to hit home on the view cube, and then I'm going to click front. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, just so we can see this as it works. If you recall in the video when we sketched it, this part of our nose cone, from the bottom to this ledge, was 1/2 inch. So we want this to move 1/2 inch. If I go 0.5 and hit space, oh, doesn't do anything because that was in the wrong one. Let's do that joint one more time. Front. We don't want to be in the degree box. Should have clicked on that up arrow first. There we go. Now we are in the up and down change. So now if I do 0.5, let's see if it goes up or if it goes down. In this case, it went up. Let's change that to a negative 0.5. Not 5.4, 0.5. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click enter. What I want to see here is that the nose cone sits flushly right on top of the body tube, and even the edges. Nice aerodynamic and smooth. Not going to have any drag or resistance as this rocket goes up into space. Now if I zoom out, my body tube and my nose cone are connected. If I left click on my body tube and move it around, they both move together because they're fully assembled. I'm going to undo that moving around, so I'm back on the origin dot. Repeat the same process with the inner body tube. So left click from the data panel, drag it out into the workspace, release. Zoom out a little bit. You can't really see it because again, right where we sketched it is right where that body tube is. So I'm going to grab this arrow, drag it down a little ways. And I'm actually going to drag it all the way down even more so that way I can see the part fully, because I'm going to want to do a join again, seeing the top circle of this. So once I've got it to where I can see the part fully, click OK. And we're going to repeat that process from earlier. Relationships, joint, spin a little bit so I can see the top of my body tube, select that inner dot, orbit again, see the bottom of the body tube, see that dot, connect them, hit the front on the view cube, kind of zoom out a little bit so we can see what's going on. We want this upwards arrow. And I could type in my distance, but this one for me is kind of a visual, but if you wanted to type it, just remember what height we made this part. We want just a little bit to be sticking out. So in this case, I'm going to leave this at 3.1. Again, I just want a little bit to be out and visible. At this point, I'm going to click OK. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring that tail fin in. So we're going to left click over here in the data panel on the tail fin, bring it over to our workspace, and we're going to release it. Now, just like I've called out before, it is showing it exactly where we sketched it. So if I hide the body tube, the inner body tube, you can see it's centered on that origin there, goes straight up, over, etc. And we want this tail fin to stick just on the outside of our body tube here. So I'm going to grab this right hand arrow. I'm going to move it a little bit. You can see at this point, it's all moving at 0.1 inches in that text box. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. And either at 0.3, it's on the inside of the rocket. 0.4, it's on the outside of the rocket. So it's time to go back and think, all right, when we made the body tube, our outside diameter was 0.75 inches, 3/4 of an inch. Now, that was the whole diameter. We're only worried about from the origin where we started this part to the outside. So we're going to divide that by 2. We're going to use the fact that Fusion's a calculator and let it do the math for us. And there we go. Now our tail fin is lined up. It sticks down below the rocket. So we've got one. But if I click the tail fin, I can move it by itself. Press Ctrl-Z to undo. The rocket, it moves by itself. So we still need to do 2 more parts. We need to tell it how many tail fins circularly, symmetrically around the body tube we want. And then we need to connect them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come right up here to create. We're going to go down to pattern and circular pattern. And we're going to capture position first. Now we're going to look at our pop-up. So what objects do we want to pattern? We want to pattern that tail fin. Just like with the revolve, we need to pattern it around an axis. So I could hide everything, select the z-axis, the blue line that's coming straight up and down. But our body tube, which happens to be right over that axis, centered and everything, is going to work as well. And it's probably actually better, just in case we were off kilter, just slightly. So we're going to left click on our body tube. I'm going to spin the view cube to look at this from the top down to kind of explain some things. First, I'm going to hide my origin, so I left clicked a couple times. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So right now, I've got 3 fins. Everything looks pretty good. I could do 4, 5, 6, just by clicking up or down on the quantity arrow. Now, if I look at 4, I can see I did something a little bit wrong with my sketch. We talked about it very quickly when we extruded. I just did one-sided. And with this, it's not really symmetrical on each side. It's off just a little bit. So we're going to actually open up our tail fin file. We're going to change that extrude to go symmetrical. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to update the assembly drawing after the fact. Or not the assembly drawing, the assembly. So double clicking on tail fin to open it up. Going to my timeline, double clicking on that extrude. Changing my direction from one-sided to symmetric. So now it's a little bit thicker because it's doing 1/16 in both directions. So I need to double my denominator. We're going to go 132. So now it's a total of 1/16. And we're going to click OK. Now it's symmetric. It's going on both directions. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go back to my assembled rocket. And you'll notice that all my tail fins here now say have a little icon. I got a pop-up that says references out of date. I've got an exclamation point here, and I've got an icon up here, a little chain with a yellow icon. It's telling me, hey, that tail fin is no longer the latest and greatest. So to update, bring the latest and greatest in, I just hit this button. And watch what happens to my tail fins. They shifted ever so slightly. Now they are symmetric. They are lined up perfectly in the middle of that model rocket body. So at this point, I'm going to hit save. Okay. So still have one more step. Almost got ahead of myself here. So I've got them all. I've got them lined up where I want them, but they're not connected to my rocket yet. So again, got to tell it the relationship. But instead of a joint, I'm going to do what's called a rigid group. So this locks parts or components where they are. My pop-up is asking me to select the components. I'm just going to click on my parts, so my 4 tail fins, my nose cone, and actually I really want the body too. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And now when I hit the home, if I grab the middle body tube, left click, and I move my rocket, everything moves. It stays exactly as assembled. Perfect. We're done. I'm going to hit save temporarily. We're good. So in case computer crashes, I don't have to redo all that. And then we're just going to make one design change, because what I want you to do, now that you've got everything built, take a look at your rocket. What do you not like about that design? Do you want to change the materials of the tail fin? Thinking maybe, hey, wood's probably not the right thing. Let's make it colorful. It's as simple as going back into that original part file. If we don't want wood, let's change the physical material. So modify physical material. We want to do plastic. So everything's all plastic, technically 3D print this. So grab plastic from down here, drop it on in this design, and it now updates. If I want to change the color, I can go modify, go down to appearance, could also press A. You'll see here in this design section, we've got the white donut or white ring for our white plastic. Double click on it, pick the color we want. Maybe we want this kind of charcoal black gray color. Hit done, close, save it so Fusion knows, hey, this is what we're going with. Come back into our assembled rocket, and just like before, we've got out-of-date files or out-of-date parts. Hit the refresh and watch our tail fins. Bam. Probably looks a little bit better now. Now we got black fins, red body, blue nose, yellow cone. It's kind of a little elementary in colors, but hey, it all kind of flows. Hit save, and we are done with our model rocket. And there we go. Our model rocket is now fully assembled. We started with individual parts earlier in the series, and in this episode we brought everything together using the assembly workspace. You saw today how joints allow us to connect components, how rigid groups lock parts together so everything behaves as one, and how the circular pattern allowed us to easily duplicate features like our tail fins evenly around that rocket body tube. In the next episode, we're going to move into the drawing workspace. We're going to create engineering drawings for our rocket, and that's where we generate views and basically kind of building instructions for someone who wants to manufacture these parts and create this model. So if you are following along with the project, make sure your rocket is fully assembled, ready to go, because we're going to need that full model in the next step. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next time.